Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for next week, 10 days for today's final video. Day 10 will take us to the 22nd of February, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at CFS speed 2. I'm so sorry, buddy. Have a look at CFS speed 2 at the end of the video. Next 4 weeks, that takes us into early March, and I shall get on with that for you in a moment. Just say about the first video, saying a 6 a.m. upload. I've also released a 6th update for spring as well, so check out both two videos if you'd like to do that. Like, share, subscribe on vids. Thank you so much everybody for doing that. We're coming to the end of the journey with spring updates. So it's got one more update to do next week, one more seasonal roundup after that, and then we will be releasing the GavsWeatherVids spring forecast. So we are counting down now towards the conclusion, the climax, if you like, of the no, I won't go off on that tangent, of the spring update. So forecast for spring in a couple of weeks. By the way, join us next week. We'll have a Sunday roundup for you as well. So GavsWeatherVids Sunday Round is a monthly feature from January to August. In January, it's the New Year's Day roundup, of course. So February Sunday roundup will be coming up for you next week, and we'll do a Sunday roundup every week right way through to August, when we will leave them off because winter updates will start again at the beginning of September, but we've got a long way to go, but we have to start thinking about that. Right, so if you could like, share, subscribe on videos, thank you so much everybody for doing that. We need to put around 80 subscribers to get ourselves to 15.6k, so please give us a sub, tell friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely Sunday afternoon. Right, better crack on then with today's 10 to 14 day. Let's do it. Going to start off with temperatures at 10 HPA over the North Pole from the JMA. Black line shows where we've been and where we currently are, with temperatures at 10 HPA versus the grey line, which is the trend for this time of year. So we're above average with temperature in the stratosphere at 10 HPA over North Pole. Right now, we're hovering around minus 40. At this point in February, we should be somewhere around minus 55, something like that. So around 15 degrees above average. I did have a little tick down with the temperature yesterday, but in the coming days, that's going to be lifting up, and we'll see how far up that black line goes. It could look quite dramatic by around Thursday, but we'll see. Okay, let's go low down to 30 HPA then. Warming is taking place there as well. This is a little bit closer to the troposphere, so we're now above average. We're hovering somewhere there around minus 55 at this point in the year. You'd expect to be somewhere around minus 65, so around 10 degrees above average at 30 HPA. Latest two GFS forecasts look like this, starting with the midnight run. So in the next few hours, this next major round of warming is going to be kicking off over Siberia, and that will start penetrating into the pole as we go on into the next few days. So eventually, it looks like it's going to lift the temperature up to around minus 16, something like that, over top of the North Pole, maybe minus 8, etc. And that's going to displace the polar vortex at its root. It's going to displace the event of the PV out from the pole and you know, down into North America, North Atlantic, and into Europe as well. Still no split of the PV. That remains one thing that we're missing. And then that's first one sort of eases off. Then a secondary warming, gathering pace there. This one perhaps a little bit more focused towards Western Russia and Scandinavia, but should still impact the North Pole as well. So that would just reinforce, you know, the reversal of solar winds at 10 HPA, I would have thought. That's a midnight run. This will be a 6 there. Is looking all much of a muchness, but warming will be commencing any moment, actually. And it will, in the next couple of days, push on in towards the North Pole as well, with the displacement of the polar vortex. But again, no split, or no real split of the PV, or the stratospheric polar vortex. And there's that secondary warming taking place there as we get to around 22nd, 23rd of February. That's how it looks as we get to the end of the GFS 6Z run. Again, significantly above average temperature over the North Pole. And looks like there might be a little bit of a warming starting to appear over the Atlantic there. That's what we're looking for to split the PV. So, you know, if that was to develop a little bit more, you see that green area just there? I'll highlight it. The green area just here, which is right at the end of the GFS 6 episode, so it's a long way out, but that green area just there, if that was to develop more on the southern side of this displaced stratospheric polar vortex, with potential still relatively high up here, I reckon that might bring a split through there. As is, it doesn't say it could be starting to split, doesn't it? Because we've got deeper blue colours there, the cold temperatures there, and colder temperatures there. So I don't think that's all that far from a split of the PV by the end of February. But it would need, you know, it would need this warming in the Atlantic to develop further. It's a long way off. It's like the very end of the GFS 6Z run. So let's wait and see what happens with that. Zone winds are going to go into reverse. All GFS ensemble members are predicting that. This is from weatheriscool.com. We're currently starting here. So zone winds are weakening already. You notice how all the green lines now are going underneath this zero line just here. So all members of the GFS ensembles going for a reversal of zone winds in a couple of days' time, a few days' time. They bounced back up, or they tried to bounce back up, tried to go positive, but then that secondary warming looks like it's sending them negative again, actually. So it will try to recover, the zone wind will try to pick back up, but I think the secondary warming will just reinforce the negativity of the zone wind. So basically, it looks like zone winds are more or less set negative through the rest of February there. That's all GFS data. What about the ECM? This is from University of Berlin, showing at from last night's ECM 12Z run, showing about 96 hours. Warming is moving into the North Pole. That's the North Pole. Just there. Zone wind still positive, just at 0.8 ms there on the 15th of February. That's next Wednesday. But by next Thursday, the zone wind has gone negative, gone into reverse down to minus 2.7 with this warming here over the pole. Right, now the next day, which is 144 hours, the zone wind is still in reverse at 60 degrees north at 10 HPA stratosphere at minus 4.9 ms. The following day goes a bit more negative, down to minus 6.0 ms. That's 168 hours, 18th of February. Starts to come back up a little bit the next day, 192 hours, 19th of February. It's still negative, but not as negative. It's minus 3.6 ms. And then the following day, to the 20th of February, see the zone of wind is at minus 1.9 ms. So still negative even then. And as far as we get to 240 hours, which is the 21st of February, this is generated last night, based on last night's ECM 12Z run, and then still negative, minus 1.0 ms. So several days of negativity there of the zone of wind at 10 HPA. This is a major southern stratospheric warming. Going low down to 30 HPA, you can see what zone of wind is doing there. So this is at 168 hours on the 18th of February. The zone of wind then is still positive at plus 4.9 ms. The next day, which is the 19th of February, takes the zone of wind to plus 4.0 ms. The next day, weakening of the zone of wind, which gets us to the 20th of February, plus 2.9 ms. Is it going to go into reverse? The next day, as far as we get to, excuse me, 21st of February is plus 2.7 ms. So, zone of wind staying positive just at 30 HPA, closer to the troposphere, telling us that maybe this warming of the stratosphere, major southern stratospheric warming, is having a job to propagate down into the troposphere. One of the signs, you know, that the warming is getting into the troposphere and, you know, will impact the weather via northern blocking. One of the signs we look for is December zone wind into reverse at 30 HPA. It is weakening there, but I think we would, you know, if we want a tropospheric response to this strat warm, I think we want to see the zone wind going negative at 30 HPA as well. So let's see what happens. Remember, we've got the secondary warming coming up. I guess 21st of February, a couple of days after that, 22nd, 23rd of February, we're going to have a second bite at the cherry. That might be the one that sends the zone of wind into reverse at 30 HPA, but we'll have to wait and see. Right, that's for your take for everything stratosphere-wise. Basically, a major sun traffic warming is going to be commencing any moment over Siberia, and by the middle of the coming week, so by around Wednesday, Thursday, zone of winds will be going into reverse over the North Pole at 10 HPA. And we shall wait and see what happens. Let's move on to central temperature. CT is currently sitting at 5.2, which is 1.4 degrees above average. That's provisional to the 11th of February. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. The next winter red line. 30-year upper air temperature average for London, starting off above average up the bow. We're going to keep it mild, certainly for the next week, 10 days. Temperatures will be holding up. There is like a reduction in the upper air temperatures there through the final days of February. So we might turn things cold. We have got quite a few cold ensemble members down here. Got an equal number of mild ensemble members up there, though, must be said. So, you know, anywhere from around the 23rd, 24th February onwards, lots of scatter, lots of uncertainty. But before then, it looks generally mild through the next week to 10 days. And as far as precipitation is concerned, lots of dry weather set to continue. That's the other big story, plenty of dry weather over the next few days. We'll start turning a little bit more showery maybe around the middle part of the month, but even then, you know, not much getting down into the south. Probably will be more in the north and west, and possibly some precipitation right at the end of the month. But that's a very dry ensemble, to be honest, for you know, for London from beginning to end, really. Temperature anomalies from the 12th to 20th of February going to be above average. Precipitation anomalies from the 12th to 20th of February going to be drier than normal. Latest wind from map from NoSchool.net shows that high pressure is in control, sitting over and just to the east of the country, and around that we're dragging up these very mild but rather cloudy southwesterly winds. Hopefully some of that cloud will start breaking up though tomorrow. Right, this is how you can make your run. Talking big night on Wednesday, high pressure east, low pressure to the west. This low pressure brings some rain into the north and west of the country. Turn actually quite unsettled by around 16 with low pressure pushing throughout. Might bring some rain even down to the south. But into next weekend, we've still got high pressure just to our south and southwest. So I'm just trying to bring something a little bit colder into Scotland, maybe, by next weekend with more of a northwesterly. But really, the weather's still looking quite mild up to next weekend. Icon, again, showing high pressure east, low pressure west on Wednesday into next week. Quite a deep area of low pressure pushes in from off the Atlantic, bringing proper wet and windy weather at the end of next week. And that's how we're going to get into next weekend. Another low about to move in towards Scotland. Always with this area of high pressure just to the south, though, reaching into the Bay of Biscay, giving, you know, protection from these areas of low pressure to the south and southwest in particular. So their rain probably going to be quite showery, but it looks more unsettled further north. GFS midnight run, again, has high pressure east, low pressure to the west in the middle part of next week. End of next week into next weekend, high pressure reaching up from the south, bringing dry weather. Actually, the GFS midnight run is more settled than like UK Met and Icon as we go into next weekend. High pressure properly pushing north. That might be going as far enough north to actually bring a little bit of gruesome twosome there. You know, high is pushing quite a long way north. Up to date 10, still with a high pressure dominating the weather. It just sits around, isn't it? It's very, very anticyclonic all the way into the closing days of February. But so look at the end of the GFS run, gets to the final day of February, 28th of the month. And the high pressure then to our east, low pressure out to the west. So pretty much the pattern that we're in right now, actually still going strong, you know, over 2 weeks out. GFS 6Z, again, shows high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north into the weekend. Maybe a little bit more unsettled for the weekend, though, particularly with Scotland with that area of low pressure. Beyond that, moving up towards day 10, high pressure sticking around the country once again. Doesn't look like that high pressure wants to go north. And we finish up looking like that, still flat as pancake really, with low pressure to the north and high pressure to the south. There will be a lot of dry weather in the next couple of weeks if that comes up. Blimey, I haven't got me. Yeah, what are you doing, Gav? I'm going to pause the video. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, your sis. There we go. Right, yeah. forget that happened, everyone. Forget that happened. If you enjoyed the video, by the way, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Don't forget to tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. Thank you so much. Right, the GM, that's high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west on Wednesday. And as we go through the second half of next week, it turns a little bit more unsettled, especially in the north and west with some show rain, but high pressure keeps going down in the south. And then we head on into next weekend, still looking generally dry and mild for the south, a little bit more unsettled in the north. That's how you're looking at day 10, 22nd of February. Still high pressure reaching into south, bringing lots of dry weather there. Is looking a bit more unsettled further north. That high pressure doesn't look like it wants to go north, does it? Not up to the 22nd of February, anyway. And then the ECM at WF, again, bringing low pressure in through the second half of next week, particularly so to northern area. It could be a little bit of a battery, actually, Friday into Saturday up in the north, but south probably struggling to get much rain through. And then beyond that, going up to day 10, high pressure just sticks close to the southwest with low pressure to the north. We remain pretty settled. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. Gradually start to turn more showering. And actually have some wet weather in across England and Wales there next Thursday. That will be turn up for the books. That'll be the first rain down in the south of the month. Then wet weather's up in the north as we get into next weekend, before high pressure pushes back in again, and this weather here looks very weak for the central part of the country by day 10. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets to the 22nd of February. 20 members of the ECM ensemble, including the control and the operation run, have high pressure ridging in to the country at day 10. Low pressure is away to the north. Jet stream is pushed northwards as well. So lots of dry and quiet weather with that. 16 members of the ECM ensembles again with high pressure, with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south, which is a little bit more unsettled, especially for more northern areas. 10 with low pressure to the north, high pressure to the south. So again, it's going to be mostly dry to the south, a bit more unsettled up in the north. And then 5 have high pressure right in over the top of the country, originating from off the Atlantic. That's probably the most settled of the options. It just depends how far north that high pressure is going to push, whether it's going to be settled across the whole country or whether it's just settled weather in the south and more unsettled in the north. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 27th of February. 21 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure. A little bit deeper to the north, high pressure, still trying to cling on in the south. I think that's only more unsettled, possibly a bit cooler as well, more of a northwesterly flow. That high pressure trying to cling on there for dear life. But I think, he's been put under a lot of stress. 17 members of the ECM ensemble. So stab high pressure sat over country, slightly to our east. That could be very dry, probably quite spring-like. Could be cold by night with frost and fog. And then 13 with high pressure out to the west. So that's going to be mostly dry, but will be a bit on the cooler side with winds in from a northwesterly direction. And then CFSV2, these are 500 millibar high times breaking down into weekly pairs. The first week period will take us from the 12th to the 18th of February. The coming week is dominated by high pressure, so we're high and dry for more days to come, and it goes on into week 2 as well. 19th, 25th of February, high pressure sat over just to the east of the country, bringing lots of dry weather with it. Week 3 is going to be the 26th of February to the 4th of March. High pressure is going a little bit further northwards, centred over Scotland region. Should be starting a bit cooler down south with a little bit more of an easterly flow. And then week 4 is the 5th to the 11th of March. High pressure then, like between Iceland and Norway. So that is possibly turning things colder then, with like an east to northeasterly starting to pick up. Notice low pressure forming through the Med as well. So I think that hints at getting to March, we possibly start getting the Scandinavian high going. That could bring in some colder air from the east. But the rest of February looking generally mild and dry. Okay, we're done. If you enjoyed the video, then please you like, share, subscribe. Show me everybody for doing that. Well, drop a comment, let's know what you think about this and all of our videos. And we thank you so very much, everyone, for doing that. Right, just so coming up tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have 6 AM upload. We're going to have 10 to 14 day with all the latest Strat developments, of course. And there will also be a live stream for evening. We'll live stream Ensembles. What, see if there's any sign of a tropospheric response to the Strat warming within the GFS ensembles, and that will be coming up from 8 PM. We'll show you a little bit of long range in that as well, probably some analog, some Patal Peng. That's on 8 PM tomorrow. You enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.